Buenos morning. We are here, June 11th. One tournament ends, another begins. That was a crazy game last night, I can't lie. Knicks beat the Spurs, game 4. I will be honest, I will come clean. I am a bad Boston fan. I am rooting for the Knicks in this series out of personal pride because going into this series, I felt like the Spurs weren't ready. Going into the playoffs, I felt like the Spurs were too young. I just didn't think this was their time yet. They were a bit early. And I didn't want to be proved wrong. And if the Spurs win the NBA Finals at Victor Wembanyama's first real time of asking, that's early. This team was not even like this was a lottery team for the last couple of years, and now they're in the playoffs, which is just crazy. I think that youth has showed at times. I think the Wemby back pass. I mean, De'Aaron Fox isn't young, but just some of the choices at the end of that game. Wemby missing free throws. Was it Castle or Vassell who stepped out of bounds there on the baseline? Just stupid stuff like that. And I mean, listen, I'm no basketball expert. I'm no guru. But it is my first love in sports. Growing up as a Celtics fan. I'm from Boston, which means I'm from a suburb an hour outside of Boston that you've never heard of. That's what we mean when we say we're from Boston. And I know that means I'm supposed to hate the Knicks. And I absolutely hated the Knicks after what they did last year, after what we did in their presence last year. And to be fair, listen, that first round exit to Philly was awful and hurt and should never have happened. We would have gotten steamrolled by this Knicks team. Don't get it twisted. That was not going to go well. So maybe it's better that we didn't, because I didn't want them to have that to hold over us for the rest of the time. Although I will say, do better, people. I used to be a Lyft driver, and so this time last year with the playoffs going on, I was working as a full-time Lyft driver, and I was in Boston a lot, and I was in the city during that Knicks series, during games 1 and 2. Poor woman, I'm sorry, wherever you are, but I had the game on the radio. And when I think it was Miles got that block to end game 2, to 2 loss, because we choked it again. Obviously, we were up and whatever. Anyway, I slammed. I didn't say anything. Something in me wanted, obviously, to yell and swear and be mad. I didn't do that, but I did kind of just slam the radio off, just hit the button like I was pissed. I didn't want to. I don't know. I didn't want to hear it anymore. And I dropped her off right around the Garden, too, and so everyone's coming back. And some dumbass Celtics fan in a Tatum jersey is taunting some Knicks fans walking out of the building, being like, oh, how many rings do you have, hon? How many rings do we? And I just wanted to be like, brother, take that goddamn jersey off. You are not worthy of us. That's not how you lose. Lose better. Be better. Do better than that. Don't fucking try to, just don't do that. You don't do that, okay? I don't care. You just lost. You lost 2 games, you end up losing the series. Tatum's Achilles notwithstanding, okay? You were shit. Don't fuck it, you know what I mean? Like, pissing me off, agitating my sciatica. Can I say that? So the Knicks are up 3-1, and I think they win in San Antonio. Listen, Knicks fans travel in a way that Spurs fans have not. MSG was not black and white and gray. Chase, fuck-ass, whatever, was blue and orange, you know what I'm saying? So, and so far the Knicks are 2-0 on the road in the series. So, how do you come back from that? You know what I mean? How do you come back from OG Anunoby just sticking a dagger into your soul with this fingertip? Oh my God, that was a crazy play. And again, as a Celtics fan, I'm like the Derek White. I lost my voice at that time. I was doing DoorDash and I was driving and I had the game on the radio. I lost my voice. I was screaming. I was so fired up when Derek White made that putback just for the Celtics to choke Game 7. And again, I don't want to blame Tatum's injury because that's pussy shit. You know what I mean? It's a complicated life that we live. So anyway, I think the Knicks are going to do it. I don't know how Mitch Johnson let that happen. He's young, and I think he is partially to blame for this. The Spurs, at least in this series, I'm naming it, I'm dubbing it, I'm coining it, streets ahead. The Spurs like to play humid basketball. The San Antonio Spurs benefit from humid basketball. In this series so far, what I have seen, first quarter, let's first half of the first quarter notwithstanding, because every single time the Spurs have just got into a rhythm, got into a run, and again, even Jalen Brunson didn't know how to explain it when he was on with Shaq and Kenny and all them last night. That those runs notwithstanding, in the moments in this series when things have been free flowing and momentum and the Knicks, I feel, have benefited. Certainly in the last couple games, when there has been momentum, and there hasn't been a lot because of the referee and because of whatever, the Knicks have been the team to benefit. When things have been choppy and when it's felt like you're swimming in air instead of in water, when it's stifling, when it's humid, the Spurs have benefited. Whatever for either, you know what I mean. They're both playing the same game. They both have the same refs, and you can make whatever conclusions you want. Let's not forget that the Knicks won by 1 point in a game where on back-to-back possessions the referees failed to call a Luke Cornett goaltend and then failed to call a Victor Wembanyama basket, interference, and a putback. So that's 4 points right there. But I digress. When things are choppy, when things are getting broken up, when the refs are making call, either side of the floor, the Spurs were benefiting. The Knicks couldn't get in a rhythm. The fans were anxious. They weren't in it. It was better for the Spurs. For most of Game 4, it looked like Mitch Johnson understood this. Because whenever the Knicks made like 2 baskets in a row, it was timeout automatically. And that worked. That was the way to do it. That's what you were supposed to do, stop the momentum. And it was a successful strategy. But something happened in the fourth quarter of the game. Mitch Johnson forgot he had 2 timeouts left. I think he took those with him out the building. Or one of them, I don't know. But like there were opportunities to stop the momentum, stop the runs. And he just didn't do that. And the Knicks won the game. So I don't like, it works. It's effective. I can't complain about it. People jacking threes. People hate jacking threes. I hate humid basketball. You know what I mean? If you want to, I would rather, I don't know what I would rather. But it's just, I respect this Spurs team and I respect how good they are. But I don't love watching them. In the same way that I feel like people hate Arsenal and hate how well they're doing with the brand of soccer that they play, which I don't feel, surprisingly. I'm like, let them play, let them whatever, because soccer by nature is just a free-flowing game, much more so. So that, I'm like, they're just, get good, quit whining. And I'm a West Ham fan. Rest in peace, moment of silence. But with basketball, and it's just the defense is so overwhelming and aggressive, and it's good. This is effective basketball. You should play in a way that wins you games. The Spurs won more regular season games, lest we forget. Anyway, I'm calling it humid basketball. We'll see how that shows up in Game 5. I don't really think it was there. Games 1 or 2, certainly Game 3, and the Spurs were able to win, and then again in Game 4, Mitch Johnson was able to keep things stuffy for most of the game, and for most of the game, the Spurs looked like they were going to win. So, we will see. But again, that being said, one tournament ends, another begins. I think the finals are over. I do think the Knicks are going to take Game 5, and I think there are going to be plenty of Knicks fans in the building to celebrate. God knows who's going to win Finals MVP. At this point, it's up in the air. I had a hot take a few years ago. The Celtics Mavs series, the title. If that game had gone to 6 or 7, I had a feeling Luka could have won Finals MVP even if they lost. And I think, Wemby's not going to win Finals MVP. I think he is the best player on the court and certainly the highest ceiling on the court in this series, but he's nowhere near the best player in this series. So, I shouldn't say nowhere near. Anyway, I don't think he's going to do it. And again, if the series went long enough, certainly if the Spurs can get 1 or 2 games back, if this series goes to 7, it's going to be because Victor Wembanyama went nuclear. So, in whatever sense that means for him. So we'll see. Who knows? God knows. And another tournament begins. It's World Cup Day, baby. I can't believe it. It's crazy that it's already here. I can't believe that we are sitting here on June 11th, 9:37 a.m. and getting ready to play World Cup games in just a couple hours. I'm excited. I'm American born and raised. My grandfather was from the Netherlands. I started watching soccer around 2013, and so that first World Cup, it was clear to me that the Netherlands national team was at one level and the United States national team was at another. I've always been a Dutch fan. To the point where I was with friends, hanging out, watching USA Netherlands 4 years ago, and unashamedly actively cheering on the Netherlands, celebrating that win. Like, I remember that game fondly, and I appreciate that game. So, I am rooting for the Netherlands. People like them as a dark horse. People think they're overrated. People think they're underrated. God knows, man. I don't know. I don't know. They find a way. So I'm not even gonna try to predict. My pick, for what it's worth, my sort of sneaky fun little is Portugal. I think they could really be interesting. And I'm not even a Ronaldo fan. I usually take Messi over Ronaldo, but it's just, listen, the football gods, balance in all things, and it would just make too much sense for Portugal to win the World Cup after Argentina get there. So who knows? But I do have some hot takes. I do have some bold predictions. I don't think any of the three hosts win their group. I think Mexico, probably the most likely to prove me wrong, to be fair, and I think most people would agree with that. But I don't know. South Korea is tough. Czechia, Czech Republic, could be a little underrated. And yeah, as a West Ham fan, what do I know? But I do have a soft spot, certainly. So they'll be interesting. Excited to see how that goes. Canada, they're in a group with, Bosnia and Switzerland. Bosnia, listen, Esmir Bayraktarovic. What a man. What a player. What a guy. And I think he's going to keep doing what he's been doing. So I'm excited for him and for that. And, of course, Ed and Dzeko and all that. But keep an eye on Esmir. And then U.S. Is not finishing above Turkey. It's not going to happen. So I think that's going to be fun. I also think England don't win their group. The second I saw Thomas Tuchel's squad, I was like, he's throwing. Tuchel is throwing the World Cup. And I can't explain that right now. I don't remember the specifics well enough to go into detail about what that means. But Tuchel's throwing the World Cup. We're going to see it. Croatia. It's honestly crazy. I forgot this and didn't like, Croatia has finished within the top three of the last two World Cups back to back. So like, that's, I don't know, man. I don't care if Luka Modric is 102. Like, as long as he's on the field, watch out. So yeah, it's going to be fun. And I hope the Netherlands, with all of my heart, I hope they win. I would love that. I don't think it's going to happen, but it would be a lot of fun. So looking forward to the games. Looking forward to tonight. I've got a bet for Korea and Czech Republic, both teams to score. God knows who's going to win that game, if anyone wins that game, but I think both teams get at least a goal. And then Mexico and South Africa. Why, listen, a little cheeky little South Africa plus 0.5 on the line. Why not? Why not on the spread? You'll quickly learn that I'm just going to waste all my money on this World Cup, but I'm going to do it happily. I'm going to do it because I want to. And I'm going to do it while working from home, which is immaculate, and I'm going to do it while reaching completionist plus in Balatro. Completionist plus. Yeah, said that. That's what just came out of my mouth. So I'm excited for that. And I'm excited to start making shitty vlogs every day for the World Cup and then seeing where it goes from there. So thanks for tuning in. I'm Nick Boonstra. Hope you have a great day.